Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Owlet tournament. This is week number 5. We've got a very exciting game for you. Up here today, we've got Otter Oxide versus Crusaders. Our casters today are me, Marks, and Spooky, and we're joined with our wonderful producer, Silent Marine. So, Spooky, there's a lot on the line today. What is going on with these two teams?
There is so much on the line today, specifically a playoff spot. There's one slot left in these Stage 1 playoffs, and it's Otter Oxide versus Crusaders. The exact teams we have today, they are dueling for that last spot. So right now we have Paradise Tempest, Danger Close Red, and Team Growlulu. They've all clinched their spots. Everyone else other than these two teams are out. They have no chance. It's all down to this map or this match to decide who is going to be that last person joining those other three teams in the playoffs.
So this is the last week, which also means that this is, this is going to be the last game that's going to decide these playoff spots right now. But what do the Crusaders have to do in order to secure this playoff spot here?
Yeah, so Crusaders currently are 1 and 2. So first of all, they need to win this map, or they need to win this match. If they go down, they'll be 1-3 and drop closer to the bottom of the standings. But since they have a pretty strong map differential, they've gone down 2-3 and actually reverse sweeps in the 2 matches they lost. So they won the maximum number of maps you can get in a loss. And then they 3-0 swept their third map. They're at a 7-6 map differential. So to beat Otter Oxide in a 3-0 or a 3-1, they'll be able to cruise through to that 4 slot on pure map differential. Things get tricky, however, with a 3-2 win for Crusaders. With a 3-2 win, they'll actually tie Otter Oxide on map differential, which moves us to our next tiebreaker, which is map win percentage. There, Otter Oxide has the edge because both of their wins are 3-0 sweeps. So even though Crusaders could win this match in that 3-2, it would actually, according to the rulebook, be Otter Oxide who goes through in that 4th seed for playoffs. So Crusaders, they can lose 1 map. If they lose any more than that, it's it. They're done. They can, even if you still want to win the match, right?
Of course.
But their playoff hopes will be gone if Otter Oxides pick up 2.
So with that in mind, Otter Oxide, they're in a pretty good position. They haven't completely secured their playoff spot right now. But what could Otter Oxide do if they do win a lot of these maps?
Otter Oxide, they gotta win, you know? They really want that win because if they do, they're going to go up to that 3rd seed. They're going to knock Team Growlulu down to 4th and move up to 3rd. And they'll get that match against Danger Close Red that I think they're really wanting. Because Otter Oxide's only loss so far in the season has been to Paradise Tempest, that 1st seed. I don't think these guys want to go up against them first. They want to take some time, have a little bit more time to prepare and get ready to hopefully meet them in the finals. They don't want to have that 4th seed. They don't want that rematch against Paradise Tempest just yet.
And so there's a lot riding on this map right now, this game right now. But it looks like both teams are ready to go. So we're going to be taking you to our first map for today, where it looks like it's going to be Oasis.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I have no idea how this will go. Like I said, Otter Oxide, they've been doing fairly well. They've had 2 3-0 sweeps before they got stopped by Paradise Tempest. But Crusaders, even though they have that 1-2, it doesn't look that great on paper, but they've been really close maps. They got reverse swept in their first 2 matches. Terrible for morale, terrible for that, that feeling. It hurts to be reverse swept like that. But they did pick up these 2 maps. They weren't like 3-0 stomped. And then they come in, they got their 3-0 win, their first win last week. And now let's hope they can keep up that momentum. If they can take this, 3-1, they're 4th seed in playoffs all of a sudden.
This is a lot of exciting stuff that's going to be unfolding here, first starting out on Oasis. And taking a look at what these teams are teasing with us right now. You know what? I'm going to place my bets that I think these teams are going to be using some rush comps here. What do you think?
These teams have played more Rush than I think almost anyone else in the tournament. I'm expecting pretty much all day long, every single map these guys play, it's going to be these Rush comps. we'll see who can have the better coordination, the better understanding of the composition, and these little changes that will actually help them get the win, like Hawk here on this Sigma, putting in a little bit more frontline pressure. But finally, the teams are engaging, and Styrian Rin pinning first.
That's going to be an early pick-off on Clutch Caliber, but Cronaldo is going to change that back against Styrian Rin, and now Miraculous. He's going to turn that around onto Cronaldo. This is looking like this should be going to the side of Otter Oxide, but let's see if they can keep up this pressure. Shinote falling extremely low and immediately goes down. Now they've just got a Baby Diva on, and that is going to be the first point going to Otter Oxide here.
Yeah, that early pick by Styrian Rin, he kind of threw himself into the fight to get it, but he kills Clutch Caliber, and when that Maze out, you really don't have the, you're not going to get isolated by those walls, you're not going to get frozen up, but then after that, Miraculous is able to move over to the side, get a bunch of damage in on the flank. Now, Otter Oxide are moving back, Crusaders trying to get this pick on the Rin again, and Clutch Caliber is in deep.
Ooh, but PT Handley, you can never underestimate him. Both of the immortality fields are up, and Cronaldo takes down Styrian Rin. Now, PT Handley, he's trying to do work onto this back line, and he is able to take out Pulse and Bender. This is going completely in the favor now of the Crusaders, and so they're going to be able to hopefully flip this point. Yep, looks like it, and that is only 37% to 0 right now.
And that's this Diva, over the Sigma, the ultimate's not as good, you don't have enough offensive pressure as the Sigma might, but you can have that mobility, you can dive into the backline like that. You also have that defensive capability that we're going to need PT Handley to show soon to eat up some of these ultimates coming out from Otter Oxide's DPS. Still, Styrian Rin lays down the Shatter, it's a pretty big one.
And let's see what happens, but the Flux is going to come out to answer it, and let's see if that gets any value. It doesn't look like it. Styrian Rin now, he's backing off. The Amplification Matrix did come out from their side. This is just a cleanup now for Otter Oxide, as they are very happy to push these Crusaders back and flip it back to their favor. Wow, this is a close game right now.
Very back and forth so far. That's the first fight we've seen that it wasn't dry, wasn't neutral. These are where the ultimates start getting committed. Shatter, Gravitic Flux, and Amplification Matrix to flip that point. Now the ultimate bank is in the advantage of Crusaders, and they're going to take it with a vengeance. With Pulse 61 with an early pick onto the main healer. Now the Blizzard's coming out.
And let's see what they want to do with this Blizzard. The self-destruct does come out from PT Handley. Doesn't find anything, but right now, Styrian Rin, he's on his own, and Shinote is going to commit the Sound Barrier just to finish up the last members of Otter Oxide, and it looks like the Crusaders should be able to flip it. There's only a couple members left from the Otters on point right now, but they're doing an excellent job of stalling this out, and finally, the Crusaders are able to flip the point.
You said stalling, but they weren't really, because I think Crusaders had flipped earlier in that map. They were just, stalling themselves out. They were staggering themselves and staying on points because the percentage was already ticking up for the Crusaders. Otter Oxide, they need to come in fast because Crusaders, they're starting to match this point percentage. And they're trying to take a forward hold here. Ronaldo trying to push in. It looks like Otters are trying to get around. Shinote
gets off the edge, and now Otter, Miraculous, trying to find something with the Deadeye. Doesn't matter. They're able to go onto the point and block it off with the Maywall, but doesn't matter because the Crusaders, they are now charging in on point. We're seeing a lot of ultimates starting to come online for them, and it looks like the Crusaders are able to clean it up. PT Handley finding Miraculous, and Fight taking down Styrian Rin. We're going into last fight territory here now.
That was so bad from Otters, They got split up as soon as they got that first pick. It's hard enough with your main support out of it. Bender dead, and there he goes again! Both supports down for Otter Oxide!
This is looking so good for the side of the Crusaders. Let's see how this can go, because right now we're in overtime. They got to make sure that somebody is on the point from the Otter Oxide. Right now it's Miraculous, but he is against the entire team. And as he falls, the overtime wick is going to burn down, and that's going to be point number 1 going to the Crusaders.
Great play from Crusaders in the end there. They ended those last 2 fights before they even started. Just pushing forward, especially Ronaldo on that Reinhardt, getting a lot done in that last fight, opening up those last 2 picks onto the supports. Now, does Otter Oxide have to fight back here? They're going to look at a slightly different comp. We're going to see Pulse on the Echo and Bender on the Moira. I wonder if they're going to stick with this. But on the other side, we see a kind of dive composition coming out from Crusaders. Ronaldo switching over to that Winston. I think this is the first time he's actually played in an Owlet match. They've normally preferred Paper Monk on that main tank. But that guy's just been on Ryan the entire time. Winston might not be one of his specialties. Crusaders trying something a little different to get this win and get their way into playoffs.
And it looks like they're going to be setting up here on the high ground. A very highly contested point, but it looks like we've got matching dive compositions coming out from both teams now.
Yeah, it's the Winston Div is the same, but everything else is so different, and it's got to be Otter Oxide. They have to be careful about who they dive, because Clutch Caliber on that Reaper will tear that Winston, that Diva apart. Marcus on the Sombra as well, but it's Bender going down early to Ronaldo.
And that is not good, but Pulse is going to trade that back to PT Handley. So now it is a 5v5 fight. Miraculous, though, is able to take out Clutch Caliber. It is a brawl on the point right now, and it looks like this is going in favor of Otter Oxide. Let's see if they can continue to pressure it. Nobody has capped the point first. It looks like the Crusaders are slowly backing off, and it looks like Marcus is over on the Sombra now, so now they have a Sombra to worry about. But that's going to be first flip for Otter Oxide, and now the Crusaders, they have to back up and regroup before they want to try and contest the Otters.
Yeah, it's surprising to me, Otters are able to flip that despite losing Bender so early. Great job from Yellow Cello to keep the team alive without that support. And that's something you're going to have to worry about, especially Bender. You're the most diveable target on the entire field right now. There's no one else you'd rather dive than Ana. The DPS for both teams are either flying around or they have good escape tools. And the supports on the side of Crusaders, you can't really dive them either. So it's going to be Bender who's taking the brunt of this damage. And now the Valkyrie committed from Yellow Cello trying to keep the team alive.
Oh, but there's another monkey on the point as Pulse gets the duplicate off onto the Winston. Right now, he is looking to charge his Primal Rage. He does get hacked, though, so even if he charges it, he might not be able to pop it. Let's see what he's going to do here. Okay, he finally gets the Primal Rage. Now it's time to go ape into the backline, but he is immediately taken out of his duplicate, running out of time there. But it doesn't matter because the Otters look pretty dominant on this point. Cronaldo flipping his Primal Rage, trying to chase down this little Tracer, but it is all too late because it looks like the Winston on the other side, Varian Rin, he's also got his Primal out. These monkeys are flying around, but it doesn't matter because Otter Oxide are able to get the picks here, and they're going to hold on to this point super strong. They're now at 70% to 0.
Yeah, 3 Primal Rages committed in that fight. You see 3 little monkeys jumping on the bed, but it turns out it's Crusaders that fall off and bump their heads. Unfortunate for them. 80% all the way for Otter Oxide. They don't have much to work with, however. It's just that pulse bomb from Miraculous, and there's a big ultimate online for Crusaders. Marcus with the EMP. He wants a big one, but traded out. Clutch Caliber Miraculous. This is going to be a 5v5 in the last fight.
What a way to set up the team fight. Marcus throws out the EMP. He almost gets taken down, but he's able to escape with his life. Now Shinote finds Yellow Cello, Cronaldo finding Varian Rin. Pulse able to beam down Marcus, but it looks like the Crusaders are finally going to be able to pressure down the point. Both supports are down for Otter Oxide, and so this is looking extremely healthy. They've just got Hawk to finish up here. Let's see what they want to do with that. And finally, they're able to flip it, but we are in overtime. This is last fight territory.
Yeah, they have to hold on. They have to go 100 to 0. Otter Oxide, meanwhile, have a lot of ultimates coming online, but I'm looking at Shinote to be able to block some of the damage coming out from these ultimates with that sound barrier. Bender's got the nano. I'm expecting this to go on to Varian Rin, but he could, if he decides to, even put it onto Pulse on that Echo, let him charge up the duplicate, and then just let 2 monkeys run wild in the backline of Crusaders. They're looking for the engage, with Ronaldo kind of pushing up, trying to get some of this damage in first. There Varian Rin goes, he's got the nano.
And he is chasing down the Moira. The Moira is able to escape with his life, but Cronaldo takes down the Bender, and he's put to sleep just on the back. He's taking a little bit of a nap. So let's see how this works. Otters are already 2/3 of the way back onto this point. Let's see how this fight continues to engage. Varian Rin, though, he is putting in a lot of damage, but he is fighting most of the Crusaders on point by himself. We're seeing Varian Rin, he's going to prop his Primal Rage, push everybody out of the way. Self-destruct from Hawk, doesn't find anything. A self-destruct from PT Handley, doesn't find anything either, though. Clutch Caliber, he's able to get the kill onto Miraculous. This could flip the point over to the side of the Crusaders, but it doesn't matter. There is a copied Winston just flying his arms around, trying to smack anything that dares get in his path. And Cronaldo now able to take out Yellow Cello. Pulse trying to escape with his life, does not escape with his life, and now this looks like it's just going to be cleanup from the side of the Crusaders. What a solid defense.
And that's so bad for Otters. The longer that fight went on, the more ultimates they committed, the better it went for the Crusaders. Look at the ultimate banks now. So much committed out of Otter Oxide to try and take that. But Bender going down so early, like I said, he's going to get dived on. He doesn't get anything done. Now Marcus has an EMP, and these guys have to just throw themselves on the point. There's going to be a big EMP coming out there. 5 members hacked.
And let's see what they want to do with this. Cronaldo able to take out Bender once again. That is the main healing from the side of Otter Oxide down already. But the Otters, they're chasing them down. Miraculous, he's got this pulse bomb. He's hunting around. He's looking for anybody. Chinote commits the sound barrier now. Uh-oh, Miraculous is hacked. He can't do anything. Marcus is able to take down Miraculous. Crusaders are looking like they're on top of this fight right now. Will they be able to push off Otter Oxide and secure this map number 2 and take us to map number 3? Let's see how this goes. PT Hanley sitting on the self-destructors, trying to pressure everybody down. Right now, the Otters, they got to get somebody on point right now. Otherwise, the overtime is going to burn down, and that is going to be map number 1 for the Crusaders.
What a hold from Crusaders. Taking that from 99 to 0 all the way up to 100 in their favor. Crusaders must have heard what we were talking about before the game. They know what's on the line here, and they're coming out swinging. Ronaldo really showing what he's made of on both this Monkey and this Reinhardt, doing a lot of work in here. We see it right away, just pumping in damage. He's really doing a great job to create space for his team. And then it's just fantastic work from Crusaders, especially on that second map as well, you know, breaking out in the dive composition. This isn't something we've seen much for them before. And they get the 1-0 pretty quickly, pretty convincingly. They look good on this dive composition.
They really do. And we saw that these teams were pretty much playing similar strategies going into this. But regardless, the Crusaders, that was an absolute showing that they had once they finally were able to get that 3rd point flipped in their favor, because on defense, they didn't let that point slip once. That is got to be hard for Otter Oxide to deal with.
Yeah, and I think it's almost a compositional thing, you know. The only thing that these guys were doing the same, we call them dive comps, but they are very different because all they really had in common were the Winston Diva. But we actually saw Fight and Chinote go on the Lucio and the Moira for a lot of that fight. Those are not diveable supports. Bender on the Ana, we saw him have such a bad time because he was really the only one who could get dove. And that was actually what ended up giving the win to the Crusaders, I think, in that 2nd or 3rd retake the others tried to do. Bender died really early, and then it just became such a scrappy fight that was in the favor of Crusaders. It was like 30 or 40% taking up to Crusaders, and then they had that EMP for that last fight. That's kind of how they won 100 to 99, is they were able to get that dive on the Bender.
And even when Otter Oxide seemed like they were winning that team fight, despite the fact that they had lost Bender so early, you could tell, just like you said, as the fight stretched out without that consistent healing, it just completely went in favor of the Crusaders. And so finding that opening pick onto Bender so early was such an important piece of this puzzle that the Crusaders were able to do. And I ultimately think that helped them win this map.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just very good understanding of what they wanted to do. And Crusaders, they must have assumed, you know, the Otters would play dive on that map. So they're like, you know what? We're just not going to give them anything to dive, and then punish them when they come in. It's great play from the Crusaders. They really want this win. And, you know, suddenly things are getting dicey. You know, you start out this season, Otter Oxides, they take their first 2 wins in 3-0 sweeps. And you're like, yeah, these guys they're probably a lock for playoffs, right? Things are looking up in the air. Crusaders, despite going down 0-2 their first couple of weeks, they know what they have to do, and it's a great start for them.
The stakes are high, and it looks like before we go to our second map here, we have a little bit of a substitution on the side of Otter Oxide. We're going to be having McNewbie come in for Yellow Cello, and our next map is going to be Escort. Where are we going next, Spooky?
We're rocking on to Route 66. This is going to be Otter Oxide's map pick. I'm assuming, well, I would have told you before that both of these teams would have preferred the rush composition, but I'm not so sure anymore, you know? So I'm not quite sure what we're going to see. We do see McNewbie coming in for Yellow Cello. McNewbie, once actually playing on Crusaders back in the day, has since swapped sides over to Otter Oxide. So, you know, Crusaders might have a bone to pick with this guy in particular. But What makes me curious is McNubi's coming in for Yellow Cello. We've seen him here and there before. Normally, he swapped in for Hawk. He played on the off tank. He really played the Zarya when Otter Oxide wanted to run, these rush compositions with the Zarya instead of the Diva. That's where he came in. Instead, we see him swapping in for the main support on the side of Otter Oxide. Right? Maybe he has something special up his sleeve. Maybe he's a Lucio one trick, and he's really gonna show it to the Crusaders.
He's a Lucio one trick and also all the other off tanks. So, different strokes for different folks is all I'm saying.
Lucio, the fourth off tank, the fifth off tank.
He always gets left out of the conversation, and I don't think that's necessarily fair for Lucio. But on the side of Crusade, we do see that Clutch Caliber was able to finally break away from his main Mei role on that map. I don't think he played Mei. Oh, nope, that's a lie. He did play Mei on the first point, didn't he?
Yeah, a little bit, but he did show a little bit of flexibility, going over to the Reaper, over to the Tracer. Clutch Caliber self-described as, he's in Mei jail. He can't get out, but finally, with Ronaldo coming on, them opening up these different compositions with their main tank, maybe we can see a little bit more clutch out of this guy.
Well, I mean, hey, he has shown in previous matches that he is pretty good at some hit scan characters, such as Widowmaker. If you watch the last Crusaders game, then he kind of came in clutch there, living up to his name. But I am curious to see what these teams are going to be busting out on Route 66 because, well, a lot of people are, we like to stick to the rush, to stick with our Reinhardt running in there with the rest of the team. We have seen quite a few teams also bust out this double shield composition.
Yeah, and we've seen that specifically from Paradise Tempest, our #1 seed, and they have done it to great success as, they are the #1 seed. I'm curious if Crusaders or Otter Oxide are able to break that out, because anything that's not Rush, I feel like, is something they've prepped in the last couple of weeks. To be fair, I think Otters had a bye week last week, so they had a little bit of time to rest, figure out what they wanted to do for this last match. But these guys, Rush is their bread and butter. We're finally going into Route 66. We're going to see exactly what they break out here, but I really have no idea. I know we saw it in the first map, but that's Oasis University. You're always going to see Rush on that map. There's really nothing else to run.
I mean, you can try something different, but you'll get run over.
Pretty much. It's so just tight. It's close up, but these guys are showing they're willing to play these different compositions, and with Ronaldo staying in, I'm thinking they might actually have something special for us.
Well, you said something special, but it looks like it's going to be this classic Rush composition coming out from the side of Crusaders, as we have Ronaldo on the Reinhardt, but more importantly, we have Clutch Caliber back on the Mei.
Yeah, I'm back in jail. Yeah, you don't get out that long.
You only get one jail out of free card per match.
Yes, and you've already used it. Poor guy. Back up, just locked up in there. Meanwhile, we see the classic first point hold here. But I think Crusaders might be in for a bit of a rude awakening, and that's going to be Pulse on this Pharah. I'm excited to see what he gets done. It's going to be hard to both, fight on the point and dodge this Pharah in the sky.
Oh, and already the teams are getting into it. Varian Rin, he is zapping people as many as he can, as these teams have completely collapsed upon each other. But Ronaldo able to take out Hawk. PT Hanley is able to contest Pulse out of the air and is able to take him down. Now Clutch Caliber finding Vendor, and that looks like the Crusaders are going to be holding this point strong.
Great from PT Hanley. That's exactly what you need to do. You look at these compositions and you're like, maybe it's Marcus, maybe it's Fight who have to take out the Pharah, these hit scan characters. But no, it is PT Handley. He has to get up in the face of the Pharah to take her out. And that's exactly what he does. We've seen so many teams in this tournament get torn apart by a Pharah. But, Crusaders aren't going to do that. They're ready this time. PT Handley is ready and waiting to take Pulse out of the sky. Meanwhile, Otter Oxide going for a little bit of a more passive engagement this time, just looking for the engagement they want. But Clutch Caliber getting Pulse, the double kill on the Pulse from the DPS duo.
Pulse has been shut down left and right, either from Clutch Caliber landing those icicles or Marcus just shooting him out of the air on that McCree pistol. They're not getting as much value out of that Pharah as they expected, and so now we're going to see Pulse swap over to the mid.
Yeah, he teases the Ashe for a second, but decides that it's not really what he wants. Even if you're not playing the up, never mind, he goes back. Throws me off a bit.
He teased you.
He decides he does want the Ashe. I think that helps because you still have the Mercy Valk online, and the damage boost really does help the Ashe a little bit more than the Meg. Meanwhile, Miraculous coming in with a Pulse Bomb and sticks big.
And we have a Blizzard committed as well from Clutch Caliber, but it doesn't look like they're going to get any value out of that, as Otter Oxide, now they are pushing back. They've isolated and taken out a majority of the Crusaders, and that looks like it's going to be a team fight going for the Otters. They are finally able to break out of this solid defense.
Yeah, but what a hold. You know, when you do something like that, you take that defensive first point hold, because realistically, you're able to get 2 more fights on first point. If you get a minute on that first point hold, you're pretty happy with it. Crusaders got 2. Now there's a minute and a half to get through 2 more fights. That's what Otter Oxides have to do to beat out Crusaders here. They have to beat them twice more on such a brawly comp. They have to play perfectly if they want to get this done before overtime.
Ooh, as soon as you said that, Marcus is able to pick Varian Rin, and without the main tank, it looks like this is going to be going in favor of the Crusaders now. Hawk able to trade out Marcus, but it might be all too late as they are just going to be cleaning up the rest of Otter Oxide. What a solid defense from Crusaders so far.
Yeah, pretty back and forth there for a second. I wasn't quite sure who would take that, but it turns out it is Crusaders coming in strong. Losing that main tank so early is tough. I'm not sure if he had the Primal Rage online or not, but he decides not to commit it, just take advantage of the respawn and keep going. But still, 45 seconds on the clock. They need to get something done soon. Varian Rin coming in with his Primal, hopefully. I'm assuming he'll Primal just to knock people off the high ground. But he hasn't committed it quite yet. So many ults online for Otter Oxide, but they're taking a little bit too much time. They have to win this fight.
Ooh, and Shinote does commit the sound barrier, just trying to keep his team alive. Hawk, though, he trades it back on Shinote. Now, it looks like Crusaders are already in charge of this battle, as the Otters are scattered all over the place. There's only 15 seconds left for them to make it to point number 1, and as soon as this team fight is going in favor of the Crusaders, it is not looking good. There are a couple members left. The 2 tanks from Otter Oxide are trying to keep this alive for as long as possible. They're supported by Bender, but it might be too late. What an excellent sleep onto Marcus, canceling the Deadeye immediately. Now he's going to get dive, but he easily rolls off the top of the gas station. This is an absolute brawl, and the Otters are turning this into their favor. Shinote does take out Bender, though. That is a lot of healing coming out, and so McNewbie is forced to use the Valkyrie just to keep his team alive, and that way you get chain heals instead of just 1. We are in overtime now, and man, Otter Oxide, they can't stop off this cart even if it is just for a second.
Yeah, the only saving grace for Otter Oxide, I mean, yes, they take that, but they need to win another fight if they're going to cap this. They managed to get Fight's Amplification Matrix out. That's something, at least. But Clutch Caliber has this Blizzard, and they can't leave the point. You can just drop it on top. It's on the Hawk to eat that up. And he has to do it, but yeah, the Blizzard's out. But Bob's on point.
Bob is keeping this alive for his team. We've always said that Bob is OP, and it turns out that he is Miraculous, though, able to take out Cronaldo. Now the Otters, they look like they're running around and able to take this point, but Clutch Caliber is going to take out Pulse. This is looking really close right now, but they still have a tank alive in the form of Varian Rin. That's going to be huge, especially too, if they want to stall this out, and now they have the res onto Miraculous. Varian Rin gets 2 with a jump. That's going to be huge. Now they've only got a Lucio on point right now, but if they can take it out, then they should be able to move it. And as soon as I say that, the Wrecking Ball is going to come out from Cronaldo. He wants to stall this out as long as he can, but he's not able to do so. The Otters survive. They are in their nest, which is point number 1.
Beautiful from Pulse, actually, to throw that Bob out. I'm not sure if he was expecting the May Blizzard, but it actually did so much. You know, you don't really lose that person. You get the 7v6. Bob just is able to stand on point and stall it out while that Blizzard goes through, waiting for the freeze to, you know, come off the actual tanks of your team. They don't have to sit on that point there and just get blown up because the Bob's there. Perfect ultimate. Pretty much the only ultimate that could have potentially saved them in that situation, but still. They only have first point in overtime. This is still looking really good for Crusaders.
Yeah, and as soon as you say that, PT Hanley finds Bender, but Hawk is going to trade that out for Chinote. Doesn't matter though, Marcus is able to take out Hawk. Now, Otter Oxide, they're on top of this point, but Crusaders are right on top of them as well. And it looks like the compositional advantage is going to be going to the Crusaders. Let's see how this works. Varian is trying to survive against Ronaldo. Thankfully, he charges up the Primal Rage and is able to find Marcus with the jump and the slap. Nothing you want to get from a giant angry ape. And now he is doing so much work supported by Miraculous. It looks like they're able to fend off the Crusaders once again as Hawk has swapped onto this Zarya.
Yeah, but these fights, they're so scrappy. It doesn't feel like we've had a fight, that was really a decisive team win since the very beginning. Just multiple members going down back and forth. Crusaders, there's only a minute left for Otter Oxide. Crusaders want to take these fights fast, get in there as soon as possible, take a fight and play from a defensive positioning. And it's going to be Clutch Caliber once again with the Blizzard looking to throw it down. But Miraculous is who gets the first pick. Marcus is down. It's a 5v6 for Otter Oxide.
That is a lot of damage, but Clutch Caliber throwing the Blizzard again. He charges these up pretty quickly, and so he's able to do so, but it looks like the Crusaders want to back up just a little bit, as they're going to give a little bit more time. Oh, there comes an Earth Shatter, catches Varian Rid halfway through the air, but he is primaled, and never mind, not primaled, he's nanoed right now, and so he's able to survive that, but it might be all too late, as the Crusaders once again are able to clean out the Otters.
Beautiful Shatter bomb combo. You actually saw Hawk activate his personal shield while the charge was coming in, but the bomb detonated at just the right time, to take that shield out, and then the pin was able to take him. Now, 5 seconds on the clock. This is the last fight. Otter Oxide need to take this if they want to stay alive in this fight, but they have to be on point. The Bob again.
And it looks like this is not going in their favor as Marcus is able to take down Varian Rin. Pulse's Bob, though, able to take out Clutch Caliber as well. This is another super scrappy fight. We're going to see a Graviton Surge committed onto the point with the Amplification Matrix. PT Hanley taking out Miraculous. The Crusaders are pushing them back, and the Crusaders, that is a solid defense on round number 1.
Absolutely. Very good play. Very good cycling of their ultimates to get there. Otter Oxide really had to fight for every single fight they won. They really had to just struggle and scrap. You saw how close a lot of those fights were, how they could go either way. I'm curious to see what these guys are going to break out on the defense, Are they going to stick to this dive comp? Is that what they want to do? Have they figured it out? Is that what Otter Oxides want? Meanwhile, I'm guessing Crusaders are they saw a lot of success with the Reinhardt Rush. They can just power that up again and run straight at that. Dare Otter Oxide to come up with something different. But it's actually going to be both teams completely swapping not only sides, but compositions. We do get to see the McNewbie Lucio as well.
Yes, we hyped it up so much, that third off tank, and now he is out and ready to play. I guess the teams saw each other's compositions like, I like what you guys were doing, but I think we can do a little bit better. So let's see if we can do that right now as they have these team swaps off. McNewbie trying to scout out by the looks of things. But, man, Crusaders, they're doing a great job so far.
Yeah, I mean, they take this map. They only need one more. Unfortunately, we have seen Crusaders go up 2-0 in a series and gets reverse swept. But I think they know what's on the line today, and that's not going to happen to them. We're not going to see the forward hold coming out from Otter Oxide. They're not quite comfortable with that. They're not quite confident. They don't want to fight against that spawn advantage. But this is going to give the Crusaders a lot of space. Ronaldo looking for a dive in. He'll have that bubble, a little bit more defense than the D.Va for a hot second until it gets deleted.
It got absolutely
trying to get a little fight. But yeah, they're coming in.
And they are coming in strong, but it doesn't matter because the Crusaders are able to find a lot of picks. McNewbie, though, finds King Ronaldo. Now this is looking like a pretty even out fight. Marcus, though, coming in clutch, able to take out that Reinhardt. Now we see PT Handley. He's just burning people down, showing that he isn't just a D.Va one-trick and knows how to play some Zarya as well, as he is against a little bit of a baby D.Va. Wow, what a fight coming out here, but it looks like Crusaders are going to be rolling forward pretty comfortably.
Yeah, it's a good understanding of what Otter Oxide wanted to do. They saw an opportunity and took it, but it's so hard to, play carefully when you're rushing forward with this comp. And you have to be careful because Clutch Caliber is going to be putting so much damage in on that Echo. If that beam hits you, if you're under half HP, it's going to delete you. Barry and Rin and Hawk are going to have to watch out for that, not to mention everyone else. That's a huge anti-nade coming in from Fight.
The anti-nade sealed the deal, Clutch Caliber taking out Bender, and then Miraculous and Cronaldo finishing up Varian Rin. Without these three key members of their team, this is going to be a fight just completely swinging in the Crusaders' favor. And now they're just clean up, but this is probably going to be point number 1 for them. 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes.
Yeah, they capped with over 2 minutes. By the time, you know, it was 2 minutes on the Otter Oxide's time bank, they hadn't even left spawn yet. They were still getting spawn camped at that point. Crusaders coming in so quickly. And now look at the ultimates online. Just look at the difference in these ultimates. The cart isn't so far up. One good fight here could end this game. Crusaders could take this map with one strong duplicate onto that Reinhardt. If they just wipe out the team, this could be it.
And here it comes. The duplicate is out onto the Reinhardt, and now we see Clutch Caliber. He wants a slam. He wants to show that he can do whatever he wants, and he's able to find 2. Oh my goodness, what a massive shatter. This is not looking good for the Otters right now. We do have a self-destruct coming in from Hawk. He's trying to do anything he can, but it might be all too late because all of the Crusaders are going to be able to come in and collapse that win condition just in front of them, and that's going to be the Crusaders with map number 2.
What a stomp! Crusaders coming out on 2 different compositions and playing them to such a high level. Beautiful coming out from them. They know what they want. Like I said, honestly, I came into this thinking, you know, this is going to be pretty hard for Crusaders. Otter Oxide have looked so good, but Crusaders are coming out with a vengeance. They want that 4th seed. They want to get into playoffs.
And they're proving they have what it takes because right now it is 2-0. You said they can only afford a 3-1 if they want to qualify for playoffs. But right now they're trying to show us that they can go 3-0 in this match and secure that spot without that safety blanket. What an absolutely fantastic showing from the Crusaders so far.
Yeah, but, you know, they have to be a little bit worried. I know this is probably the only team I can say this when they're up 2-0, that they have to be worried. But these guys have been in this situation before. You know, their first 2 matches, they were up 2-0, and then their opponents fought back and took them to that map 5 and beat them, reverse swept them. So unfortunate for Crusaders, but I think finally they're prepared. They look dominant. They look so strong right now. Otter Oxide look a little bit lost with how strong Crusaders are coming out. They're doing so much damage. They're so comfortable in the compositions they want to run, and they're playing them perfectly.
And the Crusaders are coming over and going to this Otter Dam right now and pulling out all of the sticks from underneath them, showing them that they are better at playing the similar compositions that Otter Oxide wants to challenge them with. And once again, they are so dominant. It just looks like all the different pieces are clicking together.
Yeah, it's just so good understanding. I really want to go back to the last fight on point A of Route 66, where I believe it was Fight who hit such a big anti-nade, and then Clutch Caliber comes in behind with that Echo Beam. You know, that's such a good combo that I think is overlooked sometimes. You can't heal, but if you're under half HP, Clutch Caliber will delete you. And with both of those coming in together, it's pretty much a team wipe in a can. You just pop it open and there you go. It's so strong. It absolutely, I don't know. It was just great to watch. I liked it.
A canned team fight win. That should be a product that you could buy at your local grocery store, if you ask me. But now the Crusaders, they're up 2-0 against Otter Oxide. And so we're going to be going to a quick little break here, but make sure to come back in just a couple of minutes because let's see if the Crusaders are able to stomp out Otter Oxide 3-0, or if the Otters want to come back and try to pull off the reverse sweep against the Crusaders, who have been looking extremely dominant. Regardless, we'll be back in a couple of minutes and see you then.
You just gotta keep moving forward. You just gotta keep moving forward.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Owlet tournament. We've got the Crusaders against Otter Oxide. The Crusaders are up 2-0 right now. If they win one more map, then they've secured their playoff spot here.
Yeah, what a match. So much on the line. And now it's going to Eichenwald. This is Otter Oxide's map pick. They're trying to mount a comeback. They want to get something done here. But to be fair, Route 66 was their map pick too. And Crusaders just dominated them. They capped with like still 4 minutes in their time bank when they got there.
The
Crazy
Crusaders
stuff.
Look like they are ready to start crusading over into Otter Oxide's home territory. And what an absolute stomping that they've been pulling out. Their DPS line have been doing an absolutely great job of shutting down what the Otters have prepared for. They are in it to win it.
Yeah, doing so much. Now we're going into Eichenwald. I want to see what these teams are going to break out here. We've seen some of the rush. We've seen some of the dive. Eichenwald, normally not really a dive map at all, except maybe that second point at some positions. I would expect, they're either going to lock the rush in or maybe go with something crazy, potentially break out that double shield composition we've seen a little bit. But no, I think this is kind of the standard for Eichenwald. It's going to be the rush comps on both sides.
And the Crusaders, their logo is the Reinhardt helmet, so it's only natural that they would want to play this rush. Clutch Caliber, though, he's back on May. You'll love to see it, everybody.
Yeah, Clutch Caliber locked back up in jail. He had a little bit of fun in the free air on Echo, but now we've plopped him back in there. Locked in on the May. Meanwhile, we see Yellow Cello coming back out. McNewbie is out. He showed up against his old team and got stomped. So I think he decided to take a little break after that one, you know.
Sometimes it's good just to reset the mental.
Yeah, but now we see a small difference in compositions. We're going to see Hawk on the Zarya. That's going to give Otters a little bit more frontal pressure, a little bit more damage. But you won't quite have the mobility that the D.Va gives. You won't have the feel, and you won't have the defensive capability, kind of an offense versus defense. But Varian Rin bringing the offense, taking out Shinote.
And Marcus is able to find Pulse 61. It looks like both of these teams are completely in the brawl. The Immortality Field has been committed, but it looks like it is all too late for the Crusaders because right now, Otter Oxide, they are cleaning up. PT Hanley, though, he's still on point right now with Clutch Caliber. Let's see if they can turn this around, but this is, nope, it is not looking good for them, and now the Otters are reigning free as this should be point number 1 for Otter Oxide. With a very healthy time bank.
Oh yeah, brilliant time bank. They took that fight so convincingly. That's exactly what we need to see from the Otters if they're going to turn this one around. The tank line, so decisive when committing into that. Ice Ball coming out. I actually think that was an Ice Ball from Clutch Caliber, but it wasn't enough to stop them and Shinote getting caught out. But now, it's, everyone's rushing in. Let's talk into that one.
Battle in that room. Varian Rin is able to find Cronaldo. Now this is once again looking like it is going in favor of Otter Oxide. Man, the Crusaders wanted to take that fight, surprise Otter Oxide, but it didn't work out for them. Otter Oxide looking very dominant on this rush composition.
Yeah, the choke point is a very good place to hold, especially on these rush comps. That's why they wanted to take that so early. That's why they just zoomed their way down there, trying to get that fight. But Hawk is doing so much damage on the Zarya, and it doesn't really seem like they have an answer quite yet. 4 minutes 30, and they're already on this halfway through the second point. Finally, we're seeing another engage. Crusaders trying to get something done here, but Yellow Cello.
That's not what you want to see. Miraculous also busting out the Deadeye, able to take out fight. The Otters once again are reigning supreme. That's going to be a self-destruct, but it is going to be blocked out by Clutch Caliber. Now, Clutch Caliber, he throws out the Blizzard, met by Yellow Cello's sound barrier, just to keep the rest of Otter Oxide alive. And so, once again, the Otters move on dominantly.
And that's so bad to commit the Blizzard there. You're already down 3 members. Really just throwing away that ultimate. Your only saving grace is, you know, that Yellow Cello decided that he had to block that out, just limit any chance. But I'm not sure if anyone's able even to touch.
PT Hanley, what onto the edge. And Hawk flies off the edge. These teams are getting into it right now, but Varian Rin is able to turn this around for the Otters, getting 3 kills by himself, and now it's just going to be PT Hanley as he is swinging the hammer, and that's going to be point number 2 with 5 minutes in the time bank.
So much happened in the opening of that fight. PT Hanley getting the eat on Pulse's Blizzard, and then Hawk actually getting hit by Ronaldo's charge and soaring off the edge. It didn't show up in the kill feed, but that is what happened. 2 just pretty much fight-winning events happening back-to-back, but for opposite teams, and it's Varian Rin who's able to get that cleanup there. They're not stopping. Otters have a bone to pick.
And the Crusaders, too, they want to continue to push this dominance over, but it hasn't been working off in their favor. That's going to be Cronaldo committing his Earth Shatter, but it is all too late. Hawk pulling out a wonderful Dravidic Flush. And that's just going to be another cleanup from the Crusaders. Holy smokes, they have not lost a team fight yet.
Yeah, Hawk, that Graviton Surge, catching everyone. You saw Shinote actually commit the sound barrier, try to keep the team alive, but Ronaldo had already fallen on that Reinhardt. This is last fight. Almost 4 minutes on the time bank. And Pulse has a Blizzard.
Ooh, and that's going to be an Earth Shatter committed, and out comes the Blizzard from Pulse. Everybody getting frozen up, and oh my goodness, the Otters are just going to be sweeping them up yet again. They say you don't get a single team fight. We were talking about a team fight in a can. Doesn't look like that's going to be happening. What a dominant turnaround from Otter Oxide. They are showing that they are still in this, and they are going all the way.
Yeah, Crusaders, they showed Otters their team fight in a can. Otter Oxide came back and said, we'd like a 6-pack and just demolish all the way through that map. That was nuts. That is hard to do as well, you know? The mental drain you've got, you're already down 0-2. You come into this map, I know it's their map pick, but Route 66 was their map pick too, you know? You already see it, you envision it in your head, you're like, we're gonna get stalled out on first point, we're not gonna get there, we're gonna get like halfway. But no, Otters, their mental is rock solid, and they just pound their way on the back of Hawk, running the Zarya. He's been getting so much damage in. He's been doing so much work, and it's just PT Handley on the D.Va can't really compete with the amount of work that Hawk's getting done. It's like there's 3 DPS on the side of Otter Oxide, and they're all pushing in a bunch of damage. Now we're seeing something a little bit special from Crusaders, and we kind of need to if they're going to break this out while Clutch Caliber switches off. We've seen him actually open up this first point on the Widowmaker, just go on a flank and get 2 or 3 headshots. We've seen that in maps before. But it doesn't look like you're breaking out today. You're just trying to get the most you can out of the pure rush comp, get that Blizzard built up, get as many of those as you can. But they have a mountain to climb ahead of them.
Yep, and the Crusaders, they have to take this all the way to the end. If the Otters can stop them at any point, then it is not looking good for them. Immediately, the Maywells are going to come out, and now these teams are going to be committing to the brawl. The Pulse falls down. Oh no, that is an early loss for the team, as both of the Immortality fields have been committed and broken. Right now, it is a 5v6, and oh man, the Crusaders, they're already on point. They want Otter Oxide to fight them on the point, and it looks like this is going to be going in favor of the Crusaders. As what? Otters weren't even on the point. They just gave that up for free. So the Crusaders, they said, you know, we really liked that speedrun strat that you guys are running, and I think let's see if we can do better, actually. And now we're going to be going to point number 2.
An early cap for first point. It looked like Hawk and the rest of his team, I'm not quite sure how many were alive, were trying to get what picks they could on the backline, on the stragglers. But as Varian Rin tries to touch the point, he gets taken out by Ronaldo, and then there's nobody who's strong enough, has that point present, to stand there with Pulse and Ronaldo both out. Once again, we're going to see the early fight coming off the top rope. But it's who's going to fall first? It looks like it's going to be Fight.
Uh-oh, that is huge because Fight is your main source of healing, and now it's going to be cleanup for the Otters as they only have a couple members left from the Crusaders side. And once they're able to now take this stronghold, a great place to defend from, but it doesn't look like they're quite satisfied yet as they start pushing up in front of the Crusaders' face.
Yeah, this is exactly what Crusaders wanted to do on the last point. I think the payload's a little bit too far forward for them to get the hold they want, but that amplification matrix is getting so much damage, and Pulse is in trouble, about to go down here, and there he goes. PT Handley with the double kill.
Let's talk about that Earth Shatter. It is time to put your cowboy hats on because Miraculous uses the Deadeye off of Varian's Earth Shatter and is able to find a 2K, turning this around for the Otters, despite losing Pulse early on.
PT Handley puts the team on his back to try and start that off, killing the Mei and eating the Blizzard. But Varian Rin turns around and lays down the hammer, and that's all she wrote, especially with Miraculous cleaning up. Now, a different approach coming up from Crusaders. They have the ultimate advantage. Let's see if they're able to actually get what they want out of it. But that's a big grab.
Everybody is throwing down their hands onto the cube, but that's going to be a huge self-destruct. That's going to be a 3K. And now this is the Crusaders all day as they clean up the rest of the Otters, and they're going to be now moving forwards.
Oh, that's exactly what you want. If you can win the fight, if you can't eat the grab, you need to win the fight in which it's used. And that is all based on that bomb from PT Handley. This guy has been doing so much work on the second point of Eichenwald. He's pretty much saying, he's saying to his team, if you guys can't win these fights, I'll do it myself. And he has been doing so much work. Meanwhile, Otter Oxide, they're taking this high ground. They're going up on this bridge here, trying to get a positional advantage, but the payload's gone a little bit too far, and now they pretty much just flipped positions.
And the High Noon is going to be coming out. It looks like High Noon's coming out from both sides. Let's see if anybody's able to get anything. Doesn't matter though. Bender able to find Ronaldo. Now it's going to be a fight on the point, but oh no, it happens again. Oh no, despite the fact that Otters win that team fight, this cart is going to be rolling through point number 2, and now we are on the final point. Otter Oxide, you need to touch the point.
What are you guys doing?
Oh, it hurts.
Like, that was a literal C9. Like the first time they had pretty much lost that point. They were down members, but this was a full team fight, and Otter Oxides were not able to touch. That is so bad. And suddenly Crusaders have a chance now, it feels like. Blizzard committed.
Pretty sure PT Henley has used every single Blizzard coming in, but we have the Graviton Surge coming in, and they're not going to get anything out of that one. A self-destruct, that's a 5k comboed with that Earth Shatter. Oh my goodness, the ult comboing is coming out from the Crusaders, and they are they're contesting this in absolutely massive time bank. This is insanity.
You gotta be kidding me. PT Henley just trying to keep them from touching the point. You got it again!
Oh, spooky. Spooky, what do we do?
I'm sorry for anyone who I've blown out your mics, but that one, I don't know if that's forgivable or not. It's so hard to see. PT Henley was body blocking everyone coming out, but even like, okay, if I wasn't going to be generous at all, like, and just call them like I see them really, that is 3 C9s for Crusaders to cap. And suddenly that huge time bank from Otter Oxide is nothing. 7 seconds. They kept with 7 more seconds than Crusaders did. They didn't touch so many times.
Which is a damn shame because the Otters are looking really good. You know, they're able to win these team fights.
They're literally winning.
They're winning, but it's too late by the time they win. By the time they make their way onto these team fights, they've already capped the point.
Oh my god, I am losing my mind. This is insane.
But we do have to talk about the ultimate comboing that is coming out from the Crusaders. They are doing such a good job. Like, this teamwork and coordination is immaculate.
It really is so good. And PT Henley woke up feeling peckish today because he is eating everything in sight. The Otter Oxide have been, you know, they haven't been able to touch the point, but that doesn't take away that Crusaders have been doing a very good job. But still, you feel like in a different world, this would be Otter Oxide just defending in, you know, just to get that first pick, or rather attacking to get that first pick. However, taking a clutch caliber, they're fired up. They want to fight back here.
It looks like they have learned their lesson because they're always keeping one person at least close to the point. But Yellow Shell is able to get a double boop off, and that's going to be a cleanup from the Otters. They are upset. They are mad. They want to push the Crusaders, not even give up a tick.
Yeah, the play of the game boop there. And yeah, they're fighting for, you know, just to keep Crusaders from getting that one tick, to make sure that they cannot win this map. You know, if you can't win, you might as well draw, and that is kind of what we're hoping to see here, or at least Otter Oxide are hoping if they cannot get their own picks. But they're doing a lot of work here. They have woken up.
Ooh, that's a huge Earth Shatter. Doesn't matter though, he gets frozen up, but it's too late because once again, this is going to be the Otters on a clean up. Even though that Varian Rin fell down, it doesn't matter. There are only 45 seconds left for the Crusaders to come and touch this point now.
Yeah, 2 fights so far, and all of them have been all Otter Oxide. Now look at the ultimates. Hawk with the grab, and Yellow Cello with the sound barrier. He's got that beat to keep his team alive. Clutch Caliber would need to have the Blizzard here to give them a chance, but he's not even close. We need to see some heroics coming out from Crusaders if they want to take this one.
And here we go. The Surge has been committed, but Miraculous is on the top ground. He's got a Deadeye. Marcus able to take out Bender with his Deadeye. This Cowboy's looking for something, but he's not going to find anything. Now, he is in the backline. Miraculous able to take out Fight. That is a huge pick for Otter Oxide, and now Otter Oxide are looking pretty dominant on this point. There are 3 members left from the Crusaders. If they're able to take him out, then this is going to be a full hold. Okay, self-destruct committed by PT Henley. Let's see. Oh, Miraculous stuns him out of the remech. Oh no, that is deadly. Now we have Ronaldo. He's trying to stall this out for as long as he can. He does have Fight with him on support, but it looks like it is all too late because the overtime has ticked down, and that is going to be a full hold from the Otters.
beautiful work from Hawk, especially on this Zarya. We saw the fight get really scrappy. We saw multiple members fall from each team, but it was due to Hawk being able to stay alive, put in so much consistent damage. He was already fully charged, so he's really a threat to be dealt with. And we saw PT Hanley do his best, trying to take out Hawk, but Hawk was fully charged. You know, your defense matrix can't eat that, and he just beamed PT Hanley out of mech. Great defense coming out from Otter Oxide, and now it's Crusaders. They have to hold them off just to get that draw here. Otherwise, Otter Oxide is going to get on the board. They're going to get that map win.
The Otters are hungry and they want it. The win condition has been established. 1 tick on first point with 2 minutes and 7 seconds. If you're the Otters, you're feeling pretty good about this, but the Crusaders, they have shown an absolute wrecking on these previous 2 matches, and so they are not to be underestimated coming into this final pick.
Yeah, but with 2 minutes, you know, you can expect that everyone will be able to get at least 1 ultimate online. And I'm assuming Pulse will switch off over to the Mei here. And with that Graviton Surge and the Blizzard, those are 2 fight-winning ultimates, especially if you only need to get 1 tick. However, Pulse might actually stick on this, try and just get that consistent damage down. No.
You jinxed it.
Yeah, I jinxed it. Dueling comp, the exact same thing on both sides, other than this off-tank difference. Let's see if that will change the game, and Hawk on the Zarya will be able to close it out.
And we have talked about how confident Otter Oxide is in this rush composition, and already these teams are going to be battling. Ronaldo falling extremely low. The immortality field from both sides has been committed at this point. Now the Crusaders, they're pushing them back, but Miraculous is able to catch Clutch Caliber. Hawk finding fight. That is a lot of healing down for the Crusaders. The Otters, they are in it to win it. Hawk able to take 2 people out, and now this is just going to be cleanup from Otter Oxide. If they can take out the Lucio, now they are dominantly controlling the point, and that is going to be the map for Otter Oxide. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a game on our hands.
Yeah, we have a series. What a match coming out there. Eichenwald, Otter Oxide's map pick, but at times it didn't look like it. But finally, they're able to just get that 2-minute hold in overtime, and they have take a pretty convincing cap themselves. They played incredibly well. We get to see this bomb again. That shatter
so good.
Coming out from Ronaldo, just laid everyone on their back, and then the bomb follows it up. So much being done from both teams here. This is such a brawl. They know what's on the line. And Marks, we're going into map 4, which, you know, it won't be the biggest deal, but in this specific scenario, this is the map 5. Crusaders can only lose 1 map. If you're a little late to this, I'm going to break it down a little bit for you in that this is a playoff match. These are the only 2 teams that can get into the Stage 1 playoffs. Crusaders, they've had a bit of a rough go of it. They're 1-2 currently. But if they win this match 3-1 or better, at this point it has to be 3-1. They've already lost the map. If they win this next map, they will sneak their way into the 4th seed. If they lose and win the last map, it doesn't matter. They can't win 3-2. That's not good enough for them. They need the 3-1 win. If they win 3-2, it's still Otter Oxide going through. On the other side, Otters, they just need this map to get into playoffs. It doesn't win the match for them, but it gets them that 4th seed in playoffs regardless of how map 5 goes. Mm-hmm. This is where everything's on the line, and it's going to be Crusaders' map pick.
The Crusaders came into this series probably a little bit scared because they knew what they had to do. They had to go up against these Otters and beat them at minimum 3-1. Otter Oxide probably felt a little bit confident coming into here, just being like, you know, we should be in a pretty good position to secure a playoff spot. But as soon as they got challenged by Crusaders, now the Otters are like, all right, we're going to be getting down to business. And we saw what these Otters are capable of, because Otter Oxide, once again, they've been doing an excellent job at winning these team fights when they go up against the Crusaders. As long as somebody is on point, I think that's the only thing that they need to pay attention to. But dominant offense, honestly, they're winning these team fights against the Crusaders. Obviously, the Crusaders, they had a couple of really good ultimate chainings going on. PT Hanley has been doing a wonderful job of eating these blizzards coming out from Otter Oxide. But in general, Otter Oxide looks a little bit more comfortable on these rush comps, and they need to capitalize on that.
Yeah, quite frankly, I know that I might have clowned on Otter Oxide a little bit on that icon wall because of some of those point mishaps. But frankly, they did look like the better team pretty much throughout that whole map in those team fights. They simply did more. They won more fights. They put down more damage. And I think this might be a comfort pick on Hakam Azaria. He's doing so much. He's just, those grabs are so important. The damage is so important. You don't quite have that peel potential, to help out your supports. You are not able to get all of that eating in with eating the blizzards, eating the grab, getting that extra defense with the defense matrix, covering your Reinhardt. You don't have that, but what you do have is damage. And
Yep.
Hawk just pounded it out. Brilliant plays on the side of Otter Oxide to take their map pick, and it seemed like it. They seemed really comfortable.
They seemed really comfortable, and it is very scary when a fully charged Zarya is running at you. Even if you're the diva and you've got your defense matrix, guess what? That beam goes right through that thing and is going to be busting your health down really quickly. And so Hawk picking that Zarya, man, what a great job.
And now it's all going to be coming down to Temple of Anubis, and boy, oh boy, I'm excited.
Whew.
This game has been nuts. I really felt like that might be a Crusaders, 3-0 with how they've been playing so far. But Otter Oxide fought back. They really got a lot done.
They are fighting back hard, and they are not out of this yet. Let's see. Even if, you talk about playoff potential and all of that, but let's focus on this match right now. I think Otter Oxide, they might be able to pull off the reverse sweep. Based on what we saw in that last map, they looked super comfortable. Whatever the Crusaders were doing on those first two maps was completely kind of shut down by the Otter Oxide team. So I'm very curious how this one is going to be going.
Yeah, the Crusaders, if they get reverse swept here, we might have to start calling them the Crusaders, because this would be the third time over 4 matches they got reverse swept. If that's not a curse, I don't know what is.
The Crusaders, turns out they're really good at sprinting, but not so much at that 1,600 meters,
Yeah, they don't have that mile in them. They get almost there, but then they fall off. Of course, that hasn't happened yet.
Not yet.
I'm hoping we're not caster cursing them here. But
I was just about to say, you might have casting Crusaders them, but let's hope we have.
I know I made that joke, but I'm already saying it.
Listen, I had to one up you, okay? If you're bringing that energy, I'm going to match it and try and take it over, all right?
But oh my, I'm just so excited to get into this Temple of Anubis game. Crusaders, I said they've been reverse swept before, but not with this much on the line, and they have, honestly, this has been the best look we've seen from the Crusaders, I think,
100%.
all tournament. They've been looking so good, so strong, but Otter Oxide, they're fighting back. Both teams, one more map for either team, and they're in playoffs.
Yep. And
this is intense.
You could tell Crusaders, they had that confidence. They knew that they can go in this and win it. And I think when Otter Oxide was on the offense and Crusaders were defending, we saw that happen often. The Crusaders on defense were taking the fight to Otter Oxide, but unfortunately Otter Oxide was doing a great job of stopping that. I think that's the showcase of the Crusaders still feeling confident. They feel like they need to just go on these rush comps, and they're able to take over and overwhelm Otter Oxide. But Temple of Anubis, map number 4, playoff status up in the air. Let's see which team is going to take it.
Yeah, we're going to figure out who is going to playoffs in this map, as long as there's not a 2CP draw. I'm not going to talk about that anymore.
Let's just pretend it doesn't happen. Why did you say that out loud?
The viewers have to know. The viewers have to know that everything could be delayed for like 30 minutes on a Temple of Anubis. I'm excited to see what's going to come out from these teams. It looks like both are teasing the double shield. I'm not sure that that's actually what they're going to run out with, the Otter or Crusaders here. Others do seem to want to commit to this double shield composition. They'll get Miraculous up on the high ground somewhere on the Ash. Yellow Cello just pockets him. Pulse 61 is able to zip around, and if Pulse needs healing, Yellow Cello can bounce over to him as well. That's why you have the Mercy to just pocket the 2 DPS and jump around between them. Meanwhile, Bender, only job is keeping the tanks alive. And Barry and Ren and Hawk, they're going to be doing so much poke damage on this Orisa Sigma composition. On the other side, we see the double bubble coming out. But Marcus is on the Sombra. Those are two incredibly strong DPS ultimates coming out from the side of Crusaders with the Duke Fit and the EMP. Ronaldo coming in first on this monkey. Just he's happy to drop down.
And we see Marcus, he's running around on the back line. He's looking for a hack off onto somebody who could change this fight around. And then we're going to see the commitment with the double bubble as well as the hack onto Hawk, and Clutch Caliber finishes that one up. That is going to be a really strong first pick. This double shield comp not looking so strong right now, as Otter Oxide has to now back up and play on the point with all of those shields resetting. Miraculous is all on his own, and he gets burned down. Yellow Cello falling extremely low. Clutch Caliber not on May right now, but he is doing so much work. And Cronaldo, he's trying to finish this up. That Tesla cannon coming out from Winston does so much aerial damage, especially in these first close quarters. And now that's going to be the first point for Crusaders.
Oh, that's brutal. And we actually see a bunch of swaps coming in on the side of Otter Oxide. That is so bad for them because they won't have this ultimate advantage. They have to get something done with no ultimates, but everything's online for Crusaders. They have that duplicate. They have the Graviton Search. They have everything. It's Ronaldo going in, but he dies. He gets stunned without using Primal Range.
Oh no, and now the Crusaders are on the escape. They don't want to take any more damage, and that's just going to be a clean sweep. Varian Rin throwing the hammer around like every Reinhardt really wants to do, not holding the shield. And that's going to be a cleanup coming out from Otter Oxide, pushing the Crusaders back.
That's exactly what they need, honestly. They need this time to be able to build some of these ultimates up. You don't really have the crucial ones yet. You really want that sound barrier from Yellow Cello, and he's a long way away from that one. But maybe if Bender can buy a little bit of time with Amplification Matrix, they can stave off this onslaught, because that's so many strong ultimates on the side of Crusaders, and they want to get started laying them out.
Oh, absolutely. And now the duplicate is coming in from Clutch Caliber. We've got a Reinhardt in here, but he immediately gets taken out. Oh my goodness, so much damage came in. Clutch Caliber, though, it doesn't matter. He uses those sticky bombs into that gravitic flux, and he's able to find two. Now, the Crusaders looking very dominant on point. They've only got a Reinhardt and Varian Rin to deal with, but Hawk is still there, giving him the shield, and that keeps Varian Rin alive. Now he's just got 3 Rain in, swinging this hammer. The Otters are biting back.
Oh, what a great fight. Only using the Amplification Matrix there to save off 4 ultimates coming in from Crusaders. When I saw this, I really thought Crew were going to come in with like a 5-minute time bank because they had so much online. But Clutch Caliber, as soon as he does the duplicate, he gets deleted. They can't follow up on the grab. You don't have that extra Reinhardt damage. They get the double pick with those sticky bombs. But it's not enough, and Hawk strikes back. Great plays coming out from Otter Oxide, and now they have some ultimates online, but still, Marcus with that EMP, that's pretty much 6 ults on his own.
Oh, this is extremely dangerous. We see Hawk able to do so much damage, but if he doesn't have his shields or his grab, that is going to be dangerous. Now Marcus, looking for anything, he teleports in, and there goes the EMP. He's able to catch 2 of them. Isn't it enough? Varian Rin is going to be going down. Clutch Caliber burning him down. TT Hanley now able to... Oh no! Pulse with the Death Blossom. He finds so much value out of there. Able to take 2 down, putting in so much damage, and that is going to save Otter Oxide from another team fight again. As the Crusaders, they have to change up their strategy now.
Yeah, that was a game of combos, really. We saw Ronaldo and Marcus going together. Marcus lays down the EMP while Ronaldo goes in on the Nano Monkey. It's a bunch of work done. Those were the early first picks. But it was traded out by Hawk, laying down the grab, followed up by Pulse with that Death Blossom. There was no Diva to kind of eat up all of that damage coming out, and that's how they're able to hold on here. But that's Ronaldo gets shattered there, but traded out by a duplicate. 2 Reinhardts on the field. We're forcing Caliber.
Looking for the Earthshatter, he does find one, and that is going to be a huge pick onto Miraculous. Clutch Caliber now. The sound barrier is committed by Yellow Cello just to keep the rest of the Otter Oxide alive. That is going to be a grab surge coming out, and that is so much damage coming in. Only Pulse left on the field. Now Bender just trying to escape with his life, but he is going to be taken down as well. Now, this is all Crusaders. They're going to be coming in, but a High Noon is going to be committed. Doesn't find anything. He is shut down by PT Hanley. Now, this is going to be stalls coming out from Otter Oxide. They just have to stay alive on this point and burn down the clock as much as possible. Bender, last person alive, and that is going to be round number 1 for the Crusaders with 2 minutes and 16 seconds in their time bank.
It's a strong time bank, but still, I have to give kudos to Otter Oxide for holding on that long. Even with a pretty much a full reset on point B to swap over to a rushier composition, they still were able to hold on for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and against a stacked ultimate bank. Great plays from Otter Oxide, and that does give me hope that, they'll be able to, their mental is solid, they'll be able to come back into this. Both of these teams playing very, very well, but at the end of the day, they couldn't even really stall out due to Marcus being on that Sombra and just hacking everyone up. I think if there wasn't that Sombra, we'd see a smaller time bank. The ball would be able to roll around a little bit more. You could get a Lucio jumping in the rafters. But Marcus on the Sombra, the EMP did a lot, but it's the little things, You see at the end there, him being able to get so much work done from the hack, and the stalls weren't able to be there. 2 minutes for Crusaders.
It's always about the little things. They're the things that add up, and those solo hacks, very important in making sure that the Crusaders able to secure their time bank as is. Cronaldo, he's hanging out over here. He kind of wants to get the drop onto Otter Oxide when they start to move up. We've got this double bubble composition coming out from the Crusaders right now.
Yeah, they're going to have to play this pretty well if they actually want to break the rush composition. They have to get a lot of damage in on these approaches if they want to, be able to win these fights. Because if Rush is able to just work together and tear you apart, there's not much you can do unless they're pretty weak already. But Ronaldo actually, who's taking the brunt of the damage. Otter Oxide trying to just drop onto point, dare Crusaders to come at them. Ronaldo does just that.
And now this is going to be a brawl on the point as both teams are set up and they are trying to find something here. Marcus, though, he's on that back line just behind Varian. Varian doesn't see him, and he's able to take him out. Chinote able to revive Clutch Caliber. Marcus has just been doing so much work on this Tracer. Man, Otter Oxide didn't even see him coming, but now this is going to be a quick cleanup from the Crusaders. Never mind, Otter Oxide, they're still in this battle up here. We still have Miraculous on this high ground right now. He is on McCree, and he is able to put on damage, but it looks like they are going to be waiting for the rest of their team to regroup. The Otters are on the point, and now they are capping this up. They want to take this fight, and they want to win this first point with a huge time bank. And with PT Handley falling down, oh man, the Crusaders, they're re-engaging here, but they don't have much on the field right now. Cronaldo gets pinned mid-Primal Rage. He is falling extremely low. If he gets picked, that's not going to be good. Bender with the 2K. Okay. Miraculous shooting Chinote out of the sky. Only an Ana left on point. And once again, that is going to be point number 1 going for Otter Oxide.
Yeah, and that entire fight started actually with Ronaldo trying to get a cleanup kill onto Miraculous on the McCree, but he was able to just back up and get that mega health pack in that room on the high ground. And then Ronaldo was stuck between Hawk and Miraculous, the Sigma and McCree, and got taken down. And that was really the opening for Otters to continue that fight. 5 minutes on the time bank. And Crusaders, we've got Nano Ryan on the field.
Nano Ryan right into the Blizzard though, but Marcus finds a 2K in the back line with the Pulse Bomb. That is huge, but that's going to be a huge Earth Shatter coming out from Varian Rin. But Varian Rin was slow low. He couldn't do anything. Now, the Sound Barrier committed. Yellow Cello Pulse, Hawk still alive on site. And Hawk now stuck in this Graviton Surge, but it might be enough because the Otters are on the point. And let's see if they are able to cap this now. We're going to get the Flux upwards, and as he gets taken down, wow, Hawk is a monster on whatever off-tank he plays because he is single-handedly keeping this fight alive for Otter Oxide, giving his team enough time to come and regroup. Miraculous with these cleanup kills, and now this is all Otters all the time. PT Handley coming back on this Diva, trying to do something, but that is going to be round number 2. What a steamroll from the Otters.
And that's exactly what I wanted to see from Crusaders on their first attack. You get so many ultimates built up if you win that first fight, and then if the other team is making swaps, it's going to count that much more. And we saw that. That was a game of ultimates. We saw more Qs pressed on the side of the Otters, and that's pretty much why they won. I mean, I know there's a little bit more to it than that, but at the end of the day, they used their ultimates very well. And they just knew that they had more of them. It starts with the Blizzard, follows up with the Earth Shatter. At the end there, once this fight gets a little bit more scrappy, multiple members down on both teams, it's Hawk with the Gravitic Flux to close it out. They just had more tools due to having these ultimates, and they've used them incredibly well. That's not exactly what we saw on Crusaders first attack to point B, and that's why these time banks are the way they are. Still, 2 minutes, you can get something done with it.
Otter Oxide. Now, they're pulling up this classic rush composition. We see the Zarya, we see the Reinhardt, but Pulse is also on this Reaper here. And that's going to be really dangerous, especially in these close quarters. Meanwhile, it looks like Crusaders, they're running more of that current meta rush composition with Marcus also on the Symmetra.
Yeah, this is, you know, the Dallas Fuel rush composition with that Symmetra as well. I wonder if he'll actually stay on this. It looks like he will. They want to teleport straight onto point. They might have been expecting a double shield coming out, but Otters are ready for this. This is why they have the rush to be able to brawl on point like this.
Uh-oh, and Pulse immediately taking out Cronaldo. We talked about how dangerous the Reaper is up close, and the Otters are swarming the Crusaders in this little room just off to the side of the point. And Varian Rin, you've got a man with a giant hammer swinging it in a small room. It's not going to go in your favor, and the Otters are able to hold off the Crusaders.
Yeah, Marcus realizing, you know, this element of surprise is gone, switching over to the McCree here, trying to do a little bit more consistent damage. But let's remind everyone what's on the line here. If Crusaders lose here, they are out of playoffs. Otters are in, and they only have a minute left to get something done. They're pushing forward. The Ice Wall's not enough, but there's so much damage being traded. Zarya's on both sides.
Ooh, Earthshatter coming out is able to catch two. Varian Rin now, he is in this room and committing his swing. The grab is coming out, and that is going to be so much work done coming out from the side of Otter Oxide. Oh my goodness, once you have a Reaper and a Reinhardt in on a grab, it's going to be bad news for your team. And once again, the Otters hold the Crusaders off. The Crusaders have just over half a minute to get something done on this point.
Yeah, they're going to be coming in with a vengeance. They need something. You've got to hope that, you know, Clutch Caliber will be able to lay down a large blizzard. That's what I'm looking at. Note has the sound barrier to keep everyone alive. You're going to have to commit ultimates to this fight. If you don't, you can be over. But that's a huge shatter.
That is a huge shatter coming out from the side of Varian Rin, but it doesn't matter because the sound barrier is committed from Chinote. Now Cronaldo taking Bender for a ride. That sound barrier kept him alive throughout that entire charge. But now the Crusaders, they have to hang out on point because it is overtime. And as Hawk falls down, finally, the Crusaders are able to make progress on this, and this looks like they're going to be able to capture point number 1.
Yeah, we saw in real time, we saw Crusaders fading away. Everything seemed to go black with that Earth Shatter from Varian Rin, but he didn't have the follow-up. He overextended to get that Shatter, and he's the one who's taken out. Suddenly, there's a chance Crusaders could do this. They have the grab. Both teams have the grab, but the ultimate bank is in favor of the Crusaders right now. Hawk needs to get a big grab if he wants to get something done, but it's in front of the amplification matrix.
Uh-oh, and the Deadeye is coming out here. They're trying to break down these May walls. Doesn't find anything, but Marcus now just blinking in bullets in front of this amplification matrix. He's trying to get as much value as he can, but Varian Rin on the cleanup finds a quick 3K. Okay, Varian. Now Pulse killing Clutch Caliber Bender, finishing off Chinote, and as the Wick burns down, that is going to be a .2 defense from Otter Oxide. Round 3 is complete.
4 minutes and 4 seconds to take first point and 1 tick on second. That's incredibly doable. Meanwhile, I really think that I'm excited to see what's going to come out from Crusaders here. I wonder if they're going to, you know, commit to that first point hold, you know, play these heroes that they had before. I think they were running kind of the double bubble on their hold on that first point. Are they going to go with what they're comfortable with there? Or are they going to play, you know, cautiously? Are they going to play like the draw is possible? I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see the rush comp. They don't want to have to swap off these heroes to defend the second point. That's why we see, you know, each team did these odd defenses, you know, the double shield, the double bubble defenses. Now they're going back to the rush because they know if they get to second point, they need those ultimates built up. They don't want to make that large swap to a different composition and lose that ultimate duel.
And Clutch Caliber, he throws down the trap right there. Oh man, this Junkrat could be really deadly against Otter Oxide depending on how they funnel through this gate right here. Let's see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, positionally, Junk might be the strongest DPS hero on Temple of Anubis. It really is just made for him to throw out these grenades. Let's see if this is the answer Crusaders need. They can still win the match right here.
Oh, and immediately Bender is taken down. Now Cronaldo is in there swinging his hammer as Clutch Caliber just tosses in his grenades. And as they explode, that is so much damage, completely catching Otter Oxide by surprise.
Yeah, and they saw how they attacked this first time. That's why the junk trap was there. Because Crusaders already knew that Otter Oxide wanted to come through there. Clutch was prepared for that. That's why he laid down that trap. Now, a lot of ultimates being brought online here for Crusaders, especially that Junkrat tire. I don't know if it'll be enough. A lot of damage going down to Ronaldo down early.
And Varian is stuck in a trap holding up his shield. Now, Crusaders, they have completely backed up onto this point, but Otter Oxide are going to be chasing them down. Miraculous finding the thing onto Chinote. Clutch Caliber is able to take out Yellow Cello though, and now Marcus takes out Pulse. The Crusaders, they're fighting back on this point right now. Clutch Caliber is doing so much damage as he takes out Varian Rin again. Oh my goodness, they are holding this defense strong.
Yeah, that looked so rough for them for a second, but Clutch Caliber able to get the Riptire, get around the corner, get a pick, and then just start plunking in damage. Marcus, his DPS counterpart, also getting a little bit done, taking out Pulse on the side of Otters. Now, 2.5 minutes. This is slowly looking doable, but PT Handley doesn't have his mech. This is an opportunity for Otters.
Oh no, Yellow Cello falls so low, and immediately a trap is activated by Varian Rin, but they're able to make their way out of that one. Miraculous trying to find damage, but Pulse is able to get Chinote first. Let's see how this battle wants to go. Miraculous takes out Clutch Caliber. That is not looking good for Crusaders now, as all of them back off on the site. Varian Rin committing the Earth Shatter, and he's able to take out Cronaldo and fight, and this is just going to be a brawl on the point, but it is 6v1 as PT Handley is going to fall down. Otters looking very strong. We see Chinote trying to stall this out, but he's not able to do so. And now a win condition has been established. Let's see if the Otters can take this one home.
Yeah, they'll have about 2 minutes to get one tick on point B. But if anyone's ever played Temple of Anubis, you can have 6 minutes and it won't matter. This map is so positionally advantaged to the defenders, especially when you have a Junkrat right there. The Clutch Caliber's Riptire comes out, but it goes down, and so does he. Hawk loses his mech, but this could still be an advantage fight for Otter Oxide if they want to push it.
And oh no, Cronaldo's isolated all by himself. He had an Earth Shatter, but it doesn't matter now because there's no shield, and High Noon coming out from Miraculous, able to take one down. Oh man, that's a big self-destruct Handley! PT Handley says, no, Otter Oxide, you need to fall back now because I'm in the driver's seat and I am going to be pushing you guys home. And now, there is only Pulse 61 on point, but as soon as he falls down, Crusaders are going to be set up once again. What a clutch move from PT Handley.
You've got to be kidding me. PT Handley sees their playoff hope slipping away and takes matters into his own hands, gets a 3K despite the fight literally looking like it was lost. Clutch Caliber swaps over to the Mei. He had a brief stint on Doomfist, but he knows where he belongs. It is on this ice-based hero. Meanwhile, Otters, they don't really have anything left in the tank. Pulse trying to build up to this blizzard. If they get a good one, that could be it, but the time is ticking down. That's a big bomb getting in. Oh, that's so many picks.
It takes out Cronaldo, and that damage on the Amplification Matrix through, it's not going to be looking good. Now Chinote has to commit his sound barrier, but Hawk is able to find fight. Now that's going to be a blizzard on point right now for Pulse, so they can't even stay on the point because it is too dangerous. Right now, we've got 2 members of the Crusaders on here. Nothing found with that Earth Shatter. Oh no. This is not looking good for the Crusaders, but as soon as I say that, they're able to turn this around. The respawners advantage is so good for the Crusaders now as well. They just need to stay alive. Hawk and Miraculous, though, trying to turn this around. They still have a Reinhardt on the point to deal with, but it looks like that they're going to have to back off. There are 10 seconds left. The Otters have to do something to keep this alive, and with Yellow Cello falling down, it doesn't look like anything is going to be able to happen here. The Wrecking Ball comes in order to activate overtime, but it isn't enough as now how these teams are going to be scrapping on the point. But immediately Hawk is demeched. Now Wrecking Ball is the only one who's here. Bender just hopping around, trying to stall it out for as long as possible. Clutch Caliber though on that Doomfist, able to find two. That is so much work happening there. Marcus taking out Varian Rin. Now the self-destruct will seal the deal. As soon as I say that, it doesn't look like that is the case. Bender was jumping over
we
the
cursed
wall.
it.
And
We cursed the draw.
that's going to be a draw on map number 4. Oh my goodness.
Oh my. This match is nuts. Clutch Caliber he is the definition of clutch coming out on that Doomfist. He and Ronaldo get 2 picks despite it was a 1 fight for Otter Oxide, but Ronaldo and Clutch get a pick apiece and suddenly there are only 4 members left on the point, and with the respawn advantage they were able to come in. They didn't lose a tick.
I don't even know what to say to that one. Oh my goodness. We also can't underestimate PT Handley on that point. That self-destruct and remake turned that back towards the Crusaders. That was their sparkle of hope, and they held onto it and were able to force the draw on map number 4. My God.
So many times Otter Oxide looked like they were going to take that, looked like they were going to clinch their way to playoffs. And the Crusaders were just able to fight back every single time. That was nuts.
Holy crap. Well, now we talked about the Crusaders. They can only give up 1 map if they want to go into playoffs, but they've only given up 1. If they give up 1 more map, then they are not able to go into playoffs. But they're keeping this alive with the draw as we now are going to be moving to map number 5. I am losing my mind right now, Spooky. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, they're continuing on the 2-1. Both teams, it's so close. They need 1 more map win and they are in the playoff. Either team, 1 map. It doesn't matter if Otters go up, it's 2-2. They don't have to win this match. They just need those 2 maps. But Crusaders deny them that. Once again, it's 2-1 for Crusaders over 4 maps so far.
Oh,
this is nuts. We're going to control. There's no draws here. This next map will decide the series, or not the series at least. It'll decide playoffs.
Yes, the playoff positioning. The series, if Otter Oxide win, then it's going to be 2-2, and then we're going to have 1 more map afterwards to decide the winners there. But if Otter Oxide wins, then Crusaders are going to be out of the playoff running for stage number 1. So this is not looking too great for the Crusaders, but that's what they were faced with before we entered into Temple of Anubis. So here we are.
Yeah, it's truly just 1 map difference on who is where. Otter Oxide, they want to take what is pretty much promised to them. They come into this tournament 2-0 or 3-0 sweeps to start it out. Then, they get knocked down a peg by Paradise Tempest. And now they're coming back. All they need is a win here. Not even a win, they need 2 map wins. And then they're suddenly back in playoffs. They're cementing themselves as one of the top teams in Owlet. They just have to get through Crusaders. And, these guys, they are not going out without a fight. They just need one. Both teams, I can't say this enough. They need 1 more win. And it's just so scrappy.
Ooh, this is going all the way. Let's see which team is going to be able to win our next map. We are going to be going to Lijiang Tower. So, a lot of creativity coming out from the Crusaders on that last map. Let's see if they can keep that up and push out the Otters. Meanwhile, Otter Oxide still looking for that reverse sweep. They're down in the series right now, 1-2. But that hasn't stopped them yet with an absolutely amazing showing on that map number 4. Yes, this is going to be map number 5. Draws are funny in my brain, Spooky?
Yeah, it is a little bit difficult sometimes. But just to set the stage, it is 2-1, Crusaders over Otter Oxide. It's Lijiang Tower. This is a map that really, favors those rush compositions. You'll normally see, Night Market. You'll see the Symmetra rush as both teams try and get to the point as quickly as possible. Control Center. You might see a junk here and there, but again, very rush-based composition. And finally, Gardens is really the only one where you might not see rush be the standard meta. But we've seen everything. We've seen double shield, we've seen double bubble, we've seen classic dive, we've seen rush with the Zarya, we've seen rush with the Sig, we've seen rush with the Diva. We've seen so many looks coming out from both of these teams. I have no idea what they're going to run here.
I have no idea as well. And You know what? I'm almost delighted to find out because so far this has been an amazing series. I can't express just by how much I am taken back from what is going on from this. The Crusaders were not looking as confident at first, but then they just kind of took matters into their own hands. And with what we saw on that solid defense, they are willing to change things up. They are willing to swap things around in order to properly counter Otter Oxide. And if they can continue to do so, then they might be able to finally step these Otters out. But that's a lot to ask for because Otter Oxide looks really comfortable in playing the compositions that they love playing. As soon as they're set up on point, it is hard for the Crusaders to push them through.
Yeah, you gotta dislodge whoever's on point, and I really think that is going to be, it often is the case in Control, but especially with rush comps, and especially if we do see the Symmetra rush, whoever gets first point advantage has such a great chance of winning the map, and we are going to go to Night Market. This is that Symmetra rush map.
Oh boy.
It's really going to be telling whoever takes this first point is probably going to be favored to win the map pretty significantly because you get to set up those turrets and then you can't really teleport on again because the defending team is going to be ready. Otter Oxide breaking out Hawk on the Zarya again. I really, really, really like this for this composition because you're guaranteed a neutral fight on point and Hawk is going to do more damage than PT Handley. The only difference is Clutch Caliber is on the mage. That actually does favor the close range as well. I'm not sure which of these heroes is going to be able to get more done. Teleport's coming in, both teams meeting on the point.
And now it is an all-out brawl. The Reinhardts swinging their hammers into each other right now. The Immortality Field had to be committed from the side of Otter Oxide, but Marcus is able to beam that down. These Symmetra turrets on the wall are so incredibly pesky, but it looks like the Crusaders have been successful in pushing Otter Oxide out. Nobody has fallen quite just yet, but Otter Oxide have completely disengaged, and now Clutch Caliber, though, he does find Pulse. This might be the moment when they want to move in. Crusaders able to get first touch onto the point. An Earth Shatter committed by Cornaldo doesn't find anything right into the shield of Varian Rin, and now the Otters are going to be completely disengaging and resetting before they decide to fight again.
Yeah, surprisingly, PT Handley actually loses his mech early there, but it is not quite enough. Clutch Caliber getting that pick onto Pulse. And now they're still kind of stuck on these compositions. They haven't lost the fight exactly. They're just kind of, they've disengaged. But multiple amplification matrix used right in front of each other. They're going to be dodging that, and there's the grab.
That's a huge grab that Chinote uses the sound barrier just to keep his team alive. Marcus committing the Symmetra wall, but another Symmetra wall coming out from Pulse, as well as Yellow Cello committing his sound barrier. Everybody is slamming their keyboards with Q because this is a big old fight on point right now. And we've got a Blizzard coming in from Clutch Caliber. This is the difference. The Blizzard is such a powerful ultimate, and with that, they're able to take out Yellow Cello Miraculous, and Cornaldo finds Bender. Now, it's Pulse and Hawk on this point right now. Is it going to be enough? PT Handley using the self-destruct, able to clean up the turrets, but it looks like the Crusaders are going to be holding on to this point. That is a huge boop from the side of PT Handley. Somebody needs to stop him. He does get demeched by Varian Rin, but this is still a brawl on the point. This fight really hasn't stopped since it's begun, and now they're just finishing up Cornaldo. He is super low as he is able to retreat, and looks like Otter Oxide are finally able to flip the point, but that's 67% for Crusaders so far.
Yeah, there's just so many ultimates committed there. We saw back and forth, just everyone hitting Q. But at the end of the day, it is Otter Oxide who come out on top. And they were just doing a lot more in the neutral game. You can see they have a lot of their ultimates already online as well. Versus the lone Earth Shatter from Ronaldo. They're pushing in, but the Shatter from Varian Rin is going to come.
Oh, that is huge. It catches Ronaldo off balance. Pulse able to take out Clutch Caliber. Now Pulse is just moving in. He's fully charged and he is ready to beam people down. We've got this dual beams coming out from both Hawk and Pulse, and it is working in their favor. Otter Oxide now in control of the point once again. They're holding strong.
Yeah, and I talked about how good it was to cap first because of the defensive position. And a lot of that is actually set up by the Symmetra. Otter Oxide never actually lost the fight, they just kept disengaging. They're still on the sim. They still have that defensive ability. You don't see that often. Hawk's got the grab, he's looking where he wants to put it down. Can't have PT Handley eating another ultimate here. He's searching for it, but he's having to just beam it in.
Cronaldo takes out Miraculous. Now the grab is going to come out. Chinote using the sound barrier to keep the rest of the Crusaders alive. And that's going to be another sound barrier coming out from Yellow Cello to keep the rest of the Otters alive. And now this is just an absolutely big brawl. Cronaldo not able to find anything with his Earth Shatter as it goes into the shield of Varian Rin, but Varian Rin is falling pretty low. Doesn't matter though, the Otters for holding on to this point, Pulse able to find those picks, and now the Crusaders have to back off once again. What was looking like their fight to lose immediately turned around for Otter Oxide, and now they are on cleanup. We're getting close to last fight territory.
And it's this tank line from Otter Oxide doing so much work. They want to hold close. They don't even want to give them a chance to touch. Marcus has to teleport online, but PT Handley had to reset as well, and this
He didn't get the blizzard
no
down.
one can touch.
Clutch Caliber died mid-animation for his blizzard, and he lost that blizzard, which means that Otter Oxide are just able to take round number 1. Oh my goodness, you hate to get staggered out of that.
I don't think it even mattered. Otter Oxide had to, or Clutch Caliber, sorry, had to take the teleporter to get onto point. He's just hoping to get something done with the blizzard, but I mean, you're alone. You've already lost 2 members. It's really not going to change anything unless you're able to, you know, get all the squishies ice block up, then not miss a shot as you take them out one by one. Some kind of icy Grim Reaper. But unfortunately, that's not what happened there. What a match so far. 1 up for the Otters. But we're going to see the Junkrat. Clutch Caliber was doing a lot of work on this on Temple of Anubis. This might be enough. Marcus as well on the Symmetra. I think he's going to stick on this. This is going to be a lot of frontal shield pressure coming out from the side of the Crusaders.
Ooh, and already Clutch Caliber is able to put in so much damage onto the side of Otter Oxide. Now, Varian Rin, he's trying to swing his hammer around, but immediately gets pushed back. He does take the charge, but is matched by Cronaldo. Now, this is a fight onto the point. The amplification matrix from both sides have been committed. Oh man, Cronaldo falling extremely low. Same with PT Handley. Let's make sure that they can stay alive. Marcus able to take out Varian Rin. Now this looks like Crusaders are setting up on point. Marcus, the Symmetra is so powerful. He's beaming people down as the Otters are going to fall once again. That is going to be a first point capture from the Crusaders.
There's so much damage coming out from this DPS line for the Crusaders, the Junkrat, and the Symmetra. As soon as that beam gets charged up, Marcus, he isn't going to care about Hawk's defense matrix either. The tank line is really going to have to watch out, or these DPS will just tear them apart. Still, Ultimate's starting to come online for both teams. That's an Amplification Matrix and a Riptire committed from the side of Crusaders. Doesn't look like the Tire got anything done, and now it's going to be Otters striking back, but Pulse dies. He had the Blizzard.
Oh no, that is not good. Clutch Caliber coming in clutch, taking out Pulse, and now the Otters have to mind their time, waiting for that respawn before they move in. On top of that too, Marcus set up his Symmetra wall, so it is not something you want to push into. Crusaders are holding this up right in front of Otter Oxide's face. Now the Amplification Matrix has been committed. This is going to be, oh my goodness, what a fantastic Fire Strike and Earth Shatter going through the Amplification Matrix. The Blizzard is going to come out as well just to seal the deal. Hawk finding that 2K, and now Otter Oxide are going to make their way onto point. They've only got a couple people to clean up, but as soon as they find those kills, then they're going to be flipping the point in their favor. Wow, what a team fight.
Beautiful combination between the BAP and the Reinhardt, the Amplification Matrix into the Fire Strike. That's 200 damage. That'll take out a squishy any day of the week. There's a big shatter and a charge coming out. This fight's so scrappy all of a sudden.
This is still going. The self-destruct committed by PT Handley, as well as Clutch Caliber coming out with the 2K on the Tire, finding both Hawk and Bender. That is going to be huge. Now Clutch Caliber cleans up Pulse. Cronaldo taking out Varian Rin. Clutch Caliber has been really coming in clutch, showing that he isn't just a May 1 trick, and turning this back around for the Crusaders.
Yeah, putting on so much damage. Already had another Tire, despite, you know, he used a Tire, then they lost a fight, and then he has a Tire again. I don't really know how that works, but this guy's putting down so much damage. Finally, Varian Rin is pushing his way forward, but they have to get through this Amplification Matrix and this wall.
Huge shatter coming out from Varian Rin. The Immortality Field has to be committed just to keep everybody alive. And Clutch Caliber once again coming in clutch, taking out Pulse, shutting down the May, which has been so instrumental. Now, Very red, he's able to find Marcus, but is it going to be enough? It is a 5v5 on point right now as we are in overtime. The Otters cannot step off the gas pedal right now as Clutch Caliber is able to find Yellow Cello as well. Miraculous taking him out. Now that's going to be an Earth Shatter. Just finds 2, but is it going to be enough? Miraculous coming in with the Deadeye, able to take Marcus out from that Tracer. The self-destruct committed onto the point right now. Not found anything with that, but the remake finds the support line of the Crusaders. Are you kidding me, Hawk? This means that this is going to be going over to the Otter Oxide, but they cannot afford to lose another team fight, or else they lose this point.
Hawk just dropping the mech on top of the support line, getting that double kill, but it's really, I want to highlight Pulse actually swapping over to this Reaper, I think just to get back on the point with the teleport. You really do a lot of damage if you're able to get into these close range situations, which overtime pushes are. It's not as great in, you know, the neutral game, so this is a slight disadvantage for Otter Oxide. So it was great at that point. Varian Rin was very low as Crusaders try and push through, but that's a big shatter.
That is a huge shatter, and now the Reaper has come into so, but they are going to be able to only find Cronaldo off of that one as the teams are trading back and forth. Right now, Crusaders favored, but Hawk, he's running around in the Baby Diva form. He needs to get his remix soon. The sound barrier is going to come out, and now Hawk is ready to fight as he starts shooting with his Baby Diva pistol, but he is taken out by the other Diva in the giant mech, mind you, so that might not be necessarily the fairest battle. But regardless, Varian Written finds another 2. The support line of the Crusaders through his fire strike, through the amplification matrix. PT Hanley, Marcus just looking for something with this Deadeye, able to find Pulse. Now this is looking like the Crusaders are going to be able to win this team fight. The Stall Heroes are coming out from Otter Oxide. They're just trying to make sure that they can keep this contested for their team to come back. But is it going to be enough? We will see. The Chinote had to commit his sound barrier just to keep everybody alive, and now they are just melting the team down. We are taking this to round number 3. Wait, did Cronaldo just...
It always comes down to the wire, it seems like. Once again, this isn't match on the line, but it is playoffs. Whoever wins this next point is going to be in our playoffs, guaranteed, regardless. It is really coming down to the wire. I do want to mention, though, from that last map, the support line from Crusaders having such a bad time. You know, Hawk got the sound barrier in that Baby Diva form. This was after he had already got that double kill with the remake. He got the sound barrier in Baby Diva form, and he's just running forward. And you can see Chinote and Fight just trying to get out of there, just backing up as fast as possible. You don't want to get that mech on top of them again. But finally, everything comes down to this, and once again, we see the Symmetra strats.
Let's see, it's going to be a teleport on point, and now these teams are ready to brawl. Let's see how this goes. Clutch Caliber is on this Maydo versus Miraculous's McCree. Let's see which one is going to be able to plink in more damage as these teams are going to be brawling. Clutch Caliber taking out Pulse. Varian Red going to trade it back for Chinote, but the damage is coming in from the side of Otter Oxide as Miraculous is able to find Cronaldo too, and Bender sealing out Marcus. This looks like the Otters are going to be winning this first team fight and should be able to take point number 1. Varian just hit and fight off the edge there. You hate to see it.
Yeah, and once again, I feel like it's Hawk on the Zarya doing that extra work. Just so much damage coming in. PT Hanley's been great on this Diva, but there's not much you can do. When, you know, those brawly fights, of course Hawk's going to be fully charged. You can't really have that, you know, presence of mind to not swing into a shield or shoot the shield. You're brawling, so of course Hawk is always going to be fully charged. It's a lot harder for PT Hanley to get anything done here. Amplification Matrix coming out. Ronaldo! Big.
Ronaldo saw what Varian Rin was doing last map, and he said, I want to do one of those myself, as he throws the Fire Strike through the Amplification Matrix, finding those first 2 picks, immediately winning that team fight. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, Fight lining up the enemy like bowling pins, and it's Ronaldo to knock them down. That's why they call it a Fire Strike, not a Fire Spare. Beautiful plays coming out from Ronaldo, doing so much work there. But now, they've flipped the point. It's up to the Crusaders to hold on here, but they're staring down a lot of ultimates. PT Hanley, you've got to eat that grab, or that's going to be such a bad fight for you guys. But Pulse, he's isolated.
He is isolated and taken out by Marcus immediately, and now Marcus takes out Yellow Cello as well. Here comes the Deadeye, trying to find something, but he's not able to do so. Miraculous falling extremely low. Now he has to back off, and the Otters are going to be taken out once again, as this is going to be the Crusaders on cleanup. Crusaders holding this point strong.
then that's great for them because that gives them the opportunity to build up their own ultimates. Suddenly, the ult bank isn't so strong for the side of Otter Oxide. They're being matched out on all of these ultimates by Crusaders. 53%. This could only be a couple more fights if Crusaders are able to hang on. They're able to get a lot done with, Clutch Caliber's Blizzard, a lot done with the Sound Barrier. They could win. They could be here and now. This could be over. But that's a big item ball, isolating it run off.
That is, oh no, and the self-destruct comes in. Let's see if it finds anybody. It is able to find Vendor, Marcus, then cleaning up Yellow Cello. And once again, this is the Crusaders making Otter Oxide doubt their strategy here. A lot of ultimates were committed from both teams, but the Crusaders came out on top. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, everyone just hitting Q there, and it works out in favor of Crusaders. They managed to get the Blizzard off, but this is going to be last fight. There are barely ultimates online, but they have to push through an amplification matrix. Otters want to get this done. They have to get the fight, but Hawk's down!
Uh-oh. Now this is time for the Crusaders to move in. Yellow Cello is able to take out Cronaldo. Otters, they're fighting back. Miraculous takes out Clutch Caliber. Otters, they're now on point right now. They've successfully swapped it over as they're cleaning up the rest of the Crusaders. What was a rough start for the Otters, they were able to turn it around.
Everything on the line there. Hawk falls early, but Barry and Rin is able to follow up with a huge shatter, and they're able to pick off a couple members off that. I really thought this was over when Hawk went down, but not quite yet. Still, they have to hold on for a little bit more percentage if Otters want to get their way into playoffs. But Clutch Caliber, he's building up that Blizzard. They don't have much on the side to answer that. Pulse has to be the first one to engage.
And that's going to be a dead eye coming out from the side of Miraculous. Let's see if he finds anything. He does not. And it looks like that was a magnitude 1 earthquake because nothing found with that Earth Shatter coming out of Cronaldo. Now, Marcus, using his dead eye, able to find Yellow Cello, but that is a huge blizzard coming out from the side of Pulse. But it might be too late because Clutch Caliber, he comes in and this is going to be a cleanup once again for the Crusaders. The Crusaders want this. Now,
Can Barry and Rin even touch?
They have to come back. They have to touch it. Can they do it? He falls down. Now, there is still a Lucio on point stalling this out, but the overtime wick is going to be burning down now. They have to get somebody on point. Once again, they're able to stall it out. Bender falls down. Now the Wrecking Ball has entered in, but is it enough to stall? Hawk flying around trying to stay alive, but there are too many members of the Crusaders here. The Crusaders, they can see the playoffs right in front of them, and they want to make sure that they are able to make it there, but this is a solid stall from Hawk as he's able to wait for his team to come back, but it might be all too late because Chinote has a sound barrier and the Crusaders win!
You've got to be kidding me, Crusaders, with this 3-1 victory over Otter Oxide, knocking them out of the playoffs. These guys, they came in, they thought they had this, they went 2-0 over their first 2 matches, then a loss to Paradise Tempest, and in a thrilling 5-map series, Crusaders take the 3-1. They're going to be our 4th seed in playoffs.
I cannot believe what I have just seen, but what an excellent showing coming out from both of these teams because these fights have been exciting, they have been scrappy, and unfortunately the Crusaders are able to, not unfortunately if you're on the side of the Crusaders here, but unfortunately for Otter Oxide, Crusaders are going to be going to the playoffs. They have secured their playoff spot.
What a match. These guys are coming in as the 4th seed. They are going to be going up against Paradise Tempest and see how far they can get. They came down hard. They lost their first 2 matches, 2 reverse sweeps. That's got to be tough on their mental, but they came back and they are going to be in to these playoffs. A 3-1 victory guarantees them that 4th seed. What a game coming out from Crusaders. This was fantastic.
An absolute stomping from Crusaders on the first 2 maps, and then Otter Oxide bit back hard on the next 2. But now Crusaders are able to secure it, 3-1, securing their playoff spots. Wow, it has just been a pleasure to watch these games, if I'm being completely honest.
This has been absolutely nuts, but it's time to choose a player of the match, and I've got someone in mind. It's somebody who really did so much. He kept Crusaders in fights they really had no business staying in. It's got to be PT Handley.
Absolutely. I wouldn't have had it any other way. PT Hanley on that diva is something else, man. He is so good at eating all of these different ultimates, using his self-destruct as zoning and also to get the kills, and also using the remake to take out the back line of Otter Oxide. We cannot forget about that one. This man is amazing on diva.
Yeah, the bombs, the eats, the remake. He did so much. It's insane. This guy, he stood out from the first two maps. He stood out on that icon mold push versus that enormous time bank. He has consistently been, in my opinion, the best part of Crusaders this match, saving the game for them on Temple of Anubis. So much going on, but we are going to go to a quick break here. We do have PT Handley ready to come in for the interview, so we're going to be setting that up. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk to PT Handley about what just happened in this match and their hopes for playoffs and what they're going to do there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.
See you guys then. And welcome back, everybody. We've got PT Handley on the line, our MVP. And PT Handley, I have to ask you, what are they feeding you? Like, what is going on? Because you guys just pulled it off. You have entered into playoffs. How are you feeling right now?
I am feeling really good. They've been feeding me blizzards the entire week. So that, yeah, Eichenwald specifically. We spent the entire week just going hard on me eating ults, and then playing Eichenwald was the map we were most focused on winning, and it only really worked on the attack. But whatever, we won the map, we're in playoffs, we'll play Paradise Tempest, and we'll win 3-0.
Oh, jeez. Bold.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask, how you felt about going up against Paradise Tempest. I feel like these guys are, I don't think it's a mistake that they're the first seed, but with the confidence coming in,
they're a very good team. For week 4, their match against Lost Beefers DB, we did a watch party as a team because we needed Beefers to lose for us to have a chance at playoffs. So during that game, we sort of scouted both of the teams, and we have our strategies semi-set. This week's going to put them in full. But yeah, we're all confident that we're going to take the next game and make it to finals against whoever.
Beautiful. I do want to ask, you said a little bit about Eichenwald, how you had prepped for that map. What really happened, in your guys' mental? I know it's been tough for you. You've gotten reverse swept twice already. And then, you get that 2-0, and then Eichenwald. You guys kind of get stomped on that attack. Otters come out so hard. How does that kind of affect your guys' mental, and how do you come back from that?
I mean, since week 2, Eichenwald has led to like Vietnam flashbacks. We've disliked the map since it's definitely one of our weak points. But after the attack, when we got swept, we rationalized it to the fact that they were ulting before us. We needed to take tempo and just ram into them, and that's what we did on our attack. And it worked. We were able to cap with only 7 seconds under their time bank. Now, our second attack didn't go as well, but we did it once, we'll do it again. Yeah, it was a competitive game.
Yeah, and again, after that, you go to Temple of Anubis, and honestly, I thought that was going to end right there, but then you specifically get, if I remember correctly, it was like a 2K bomb plus a remake kill, and yeah, just saving the game. Anubis must have been tough, because there were so many high-pressure situations. That one specifically, then that fight where you guys managed to actually draw, you were down so many members, then I think it was Clutch and Ronaldo who both got picks, and then suddenly you're able to come back from that. This just pretty much this whole map, you guys were so disadvantaged in so many spots. How did you pull out of there?
It was teamwork. Like that bomb that you mentioned, I give credit to Clutch there because he was on Doomfist. He punched the Korean and was able to force the Diva to run into my remake. So it's teamwork that leads us into these positions. We were able to save Ronaldo when he pinned in, and then he was able to come back and sit on point. We were able to calm where everyone is. It's all teamwork. There's not one carry member on this team.
Yeah, and so, it absolutely looks like it.
And so moving into playoffs, do you guys have any super secret strategies or training regimens that you're going to be starting to take a look at in order to make sure that you can secure that 3-0 over Paradise Tempest?
We are purchasing McNewbie. We are buying McNewbie.
That's going to cost a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to cost a pretty penny.
Yes, it'll cost a bit, but we will look into the purchase of McNewbie.
All right. Spooky, do you have any other questions for PT while we have him on the line?
Just one more. With this win and coming into playoffs, do you guys think that you are the best team in Owlet right now?
Well, I have to call out Misfit because on the Nest he does power rankings, and he currently has us in the team that he could be barehanded, and I need him. He has us third to last. So I need him to reevaluate that thoroughly and cry in a corner that we're better than that. So, yeah, the best team in Owlet, it's unproven, but I definitely think we have a shot at that title, and I look forward to being the best team at the end of these playoffs next week.
Such strong words coming out here. But once again, congratulations, PT Hanley, and to the rest of your team, the Crusaders, for securing that playoff spot. You guys put on some real good Overwatch tonight.
Yes. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right. And with that, let's take a look at our bracket here. So as we have mentioned, looks like Crusaders, they're going to be going up against Paradise Tempest. That's going to be a very exciting match. We've heard some strong words come from PT Handley here. Let's see if he can follow through on that.
Yeah, Paradise Tempest looking really, really strong, but you can't count Crusaders out. We've seen it all day long today. These guys, they've been taking fights that they really, I feel like they have no business winning, and they're turning them around, getting in there, and that's how they got up to this 4th seed. These guys aren't pushovers. Even if you beat them, they're going to make you work for it. So Paradise Tempest, really, they're going to have their hands full with Crusaders next week. And we've already heard from PT Handley. They're going for that top slot.
PT's throwing down his hands. They're going for it. But of course, we also have our other game, Danger Close Red against Team Growlulu. So whoever wins that is going to be facing the winner of the Paradise Crusaders game. So make sure to tune in to next week because it's playoff seasons, baby. Let's see which teams are going to be advancing through the first round and which team is going to be our finalist.
Yeah, and I just couldn't be more excited. Playoffs. These 4 teams just slamming against each other. We're going to see who really comes out as the undisputed best team for stage 1 and who everyone's going to be gunning for in stage 2. But that's pretty much all we have for you guys here. Marks, do you want to close it out for us?
Absolutely. So thank you for tuning in to week number 5. This was Otter Oxide versus the Crusaders, with the Crusaders winning 3-1, securing their playoff spot. Make sure to tune in next week because we are going to be going to playoffs and it's going to be very exciting. So you're going to want to stick around for those games. And of course, this has been casted by Spooky as well as myself, Marks, and we have our wonderful producer, Silent Marine, but that's going to be doing it for us today. So thank you all for tuning in to the Owlet tournament and we hope to see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.